It's Wednesday night.
The New York Theater Barn
is live!
I see color for the first time. Finally, I can feel the sunshine. My heart's singing for the first time. Baby, is this love? I see color for the first time. Finally, I can feel the sunshine. My heart's singing for the first time. Is this love?
Good evening and welcome to New York Theater Barn's New Work Series Live. I'm Joe Barros and I'm the Artistic Director.
And I am Jen Sandler, and I am the Associate Artistic Director. And it is a beautiful night in New York City tonight, and it is finally so hot out. Yay! Tonight, we are excited to present excerpts from the new musical, She Reached for Heaven, and co-founders.
She Reached for Heaven is the coming-of-age story set against the backdrop of the greatest drug crisis in our country's history and is written by Hunter Bird and Oliver Hauser. And Co-Founders is the new musical celebrating the grit of Bay Area artists and entrepreneurs and the evolution of Silicon Valley, written by Adesha Adefela, Nicole Austin, and Beau Lewis.
Yeah, so welcome to the 42nd installment of our award-winning virtual New Work Series. Last month marked a year. Can you believe a year that we've been doing this? Since our first virtual New Work Series, and we are so proud to be bringing you new musical development during this unprecedented time. For the past tumultuous year, we presented 86 new musicals, lifted up the work of 158 writers, and have served over 500 artists. Those numbers never get old, and we're so proud to share them with you. And as always, for the last year as well, tonight we are simulcasting to Broadway On Demand, and we are thankful for our friends over at Broadway On Demand. Shout out.
That's right. And you and New York Theater Barn's own Hector Flores Jr. are also simultaneously producing an event tonight as well, which just happened, the Brett Adams and Paul Reich Foundation's Idea Awards.
It's true, and they're just finishing right now, so you should catch them after this because so many great writers and so many great ideas and people that are a part of our company that you want to see. So check that out too. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and it's hosted by Tony nominee Daniel J. Watts.
Yeah.
And now here to tell us more about how you can support New York Theater Barn is the associate producer of our choreography lab, Victoria Krauser Sanders.
Hello, I'm Victoria Krauser Sanders, coming to you from my home in Brooklyn, New York. I am the associate producer for New York Theater Barn's Choreography Lab. Outside of that, I am a teaching artist, performer, and writer. Sharing the power of theater is one of my greatest joys, and I love collaborating with other exciting, creative minds to develop ideas into realities. Dance is an integral part in the success of a new musical. So to see the well-deserved growth of New York Theater Barn's Choreography Lab over the past several years, particularly this last year, has been a crazy thrill to say the least. I am so proud to be part of this creative home, which creates a space for all artists and new groundbreaking musicals during incubation. The New York Theater Barn family is excited about tonight's original culture-shifting musicals, Co-Founders, and She Reached for Heaven. The company is proud to lift up the work of Adesha Adefela, Ryan Nicole Austin, Hunter Bird, Oliver Hauser, and Beau Lewis. New York Theater Barn is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so your gift tonight is tax deductible. Thank you so much for supporting live theater and the development of new original musicals. Enjoy the show!
Thank you, Victoria. The Choreo Lab has grown in spades over the last year, and we know it's because of yours and Avi's eye for success right now. So thank you for that.
Yes, thank you. And making a gift tonight is easy and fun. Tonight you can quickly donate by text at any point during the presentation or even when it's over for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life. Wow. It's true though. The number to give is 631-710-NYTB, 631-710-6982. Give for the rest of your life. Vote for Kelly, vote for Ruben, vote for someone on Dancing with the Stars. Give us money, do whatever you want.
Again, that's 631-710-6982. Our recent New Work series featured the new musicals Mimosa and 10 Brave Seconds. Here's a clip from our presentation of Lauren Taslitz and Danny Ursetti's Mimosa. Take a look.
Gotta move, gotta play, gotta melt and plunge and bend and swoop and sway.
Yeah, we met at NYU's Graduate Musical Theater Writing Program in 2015. And because of that, after we graduated, Bill kind of commissioned us to write a show for his cabaret at Barrington Stage. And we've been working together ever since.
We were in Times Square on a hot summer night before the pandemic where you couldn't move or breathe. And I suddenly just wished we could walk into a theater, have the door close behind us, and be transported into the woods. You know, and I told Danny, and we were like, okay, cool, but what's the show? Not long after that, sort of one thing led to another, and we read the intro to a book called The Secret Life of Plants. And the last line of the intro, to paraphrase, is, "And so it seems that plants are ready, willing, and able to work with humans on this huge task of regrowing the garden." And I'm like, now that's a musical. And, you know, more time went by, and then one day, and this was one of the many moments when, like, being a writer makes you feel like a moron because it took you so long to think of it. But it was like, oh my God, what if the protagonist is a plant? I mean, we want to write about plant sentience. Of course the protagonist should be a plant because that's the point. And we wanted something accessible because really the goal was to have as many people as possible see it and leave the theater going, did they actually mean that? Like, they don't really want us to think the plants are talking. But the thing is, we do.
We can't do it alone. 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 We can't do it alone.
I love
What?
this show.
What a banger. Both of
It
those
has-
songs.
Oh, they're bops. And it has such a fantastic message, you know? And it's true. We need to see ourselves as parts of the natural world in order to restore and save the natural world, which is decaying around us.
Absolutely. And I think both of our shows last time were about family. So now here is a clip from Jeff Talbot and Will Van Dyke's 10 Brave Seconds. Take a look.
We're sitting on a pony and a cat. Too big to fit, but that's just where we're at. They don't move, never will. Planted deep in the ground, and we don't budge like them. We're frozen still while the planet's spinning round.
Mission open. Jeff and I were both looking for collaborators. Jeff actually sent me an email one day. He was like, I don't know if you are looking to write with new people or anything like that, but I'd love to pick your brain and talk to you. And the rest is sort of history. We started talking about a musical, an idea for a musical that day, just over brunch, and started writing it. I think that that week. The musical is about not just about the event of coming out itself, but sort of the idea of coming out and how it's like that. It's a small, regular moment, and we tried to frame it in the idea of one day, to sort of constrain ourselves a little bit to time and tell a story that way.
I'm not gonna lie again, I'm not gonna cry. I'm tired of wondering when I might start to fly. My life's gonna be my quest to carve my own trail. I'm not gonna be some sad lost captain. I'd rather be the whale.
Recognizable human beings at a crossing point in their lives where they have to say something scary. So that it isn't just about coming out as a gay human being into the world, but everybody in the show has a secret, something they're afraid to share, and by the end of the show, everybody has to face that 10 brave second moment of actually saying something to tell somebody who you are. I think my dream would be that we're writing a show that a family could come to, and at the end of the show, either a kid could turn to his parents, or a parent could turn to their kid and say, I have something to tell you. You know, that it opens a conversation. It creates a platform for a family or a human being to have a conversation with another human being about something they're afraid to talk about.
The river bends and we're still friends. Whatever comes next, we'll improvise.
So I know we've both been singing that Gotta Get Off the Playground song for the last 3 weeks, and we're going to keep singing it because it's a bop, and the show is special, and everything Jeff said about it's not just about coming out as gay, it's about coming out as yourself. It's so important and it's so true.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show. I've been listening to that song all week. And fun Bay Area fact, since tonight we got a Bay Area theme going. Angela Trevino, who was the performer in the last video, was actually a student of mine from the Bay Area back in the day. So Bay Area all the way tonight.
Look at her now. If you're from the Bay Area, you're going to make it. I'm sorry, I'm from New Jersey.
On that note, no, I'm just kidding. Now let's get started. Our first show tonight is She Reached for Heaven, which has music and lyrics by Oliver Hauser and book and direction by Hunter Bird. On the outside, high school senior Jess Holt is doing everything she's supposed to. On the inside, she's never felt more alone and longs for something she can't name. Set against the backdrop of the greatest drug crisis in our country's history, She Reached for Heaven is an original coming-of-age story about the devastations of addiction and one woman's journey to choose life rather than escape it.
And now joining us from their homes in California are the writers of She Reached for Heaven, Hunter Bird and Oliver Hauser.
Hi there.
Hey,
Hello.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course, this has been I feel like we've been talking about this since the fall. We're so glad you're here.
Us too.
Yeah, and you're 3 hours in the past because you're coming to us from the Bay Area.
Not for long. Right. One of them is coming back.
Yeah, I'll be back this weekend. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what the future's like.
And I'm in the middle of a road trip, so I have no idea where I'm going to end up. But for the moment, LA.
That's so cool. Well, Oliver, you are a New York-based musical theater writer and a recent Dramatists Guild Foundation Fellow, the winner of the inaugural Stephen Schwartz Award and the ASCAP Foundation's Sammy Kahn Award. Your work has been performed and developed at Chicago Shakespeare Theater, the Village Theater, the Soho Playhouse, the Rhinebeck Writers Retreat, the Johnny Mercer Writers Grove of Goodspeed Musicals, and the Royal Academy of Music. Your other new musical written with Hunter, XY, will receive its world premiere at Seattle Repertory Theater soon. Hunter, yay! You are a writer and a director of new plays and musicals, and you're the recent Jonathan Alper Directing Fellow at MTC. As a director, your work has been seen at Ars Nova, Roundabout Theater Company, Chicago Shakespeare Theater, the McKittrick Hotel, the Village Theater, and Musical Theater Factory. You've co-written The Starry Messenger with Madeline Myers, and like I said, XY with Oliver. And I first got to meet you at Goodspeed Musicals because you were up there making some magic while we were working on the Festival of New Musicals. So Hunter and Oliver, your show creates an awareness of the impact of addiction in our complex world. What was the impetus for your collaboration, and what inspired you to tell this story?
Well, I can start with that. Hunter sent me or showed me an article on an airplane in 2018 about the opioid epidemic. And I was so taken by the impact it's had on so many people. And also, it's so widespread now, it's more likely to die from an opioid overdose than a car accident in our country, way more likely, actually. And just so crazy to hear the stories of people who never would have thought this would have happened to them, who suddenly just, descend into this decline and the impact it has on their families and communities. And I am really interested in the topic of addiction, both on a personal level and a global level, because I know that and I think all of us, in some way or another, can know what it's like to want to escape reality. And whether that's through a relationship or through a substance or an activity, it's so easy to make that choice to dissociate and leave. And I, in my own life, am really interested in that choice we have of do I want to embrace the totality of the human experience, which is both beautiful and tragic and painful, and you can't have one without the other. So I got really excited about telling this story about a woman who basically has the choice of choosing life rather than escaping it.
And as we've been sort of doing research and going deep into the world, we came across this really interesting idea by this sociologist named Peter Cohen from the Netherlands, where he says, actually, we should get rid of the word addiction altogether. And instead, we should use the word bonding to describe this relationship that people would have with drugs. Because as humans, we need bonds with one another to move through our days. And if you've experienced some kind of trauma that makes you unable to establish a sort of deep bond with those around you, often you'll turn towards a substance or something that will give you that feeling of safety or security. And that bond could be with weed, porn, social media, opioids. And a central part of addiction is feeling like you're not able to get that connection from the other relationships in your life. So you turn to this relationship as a kind of place of safety and security. And the big question that we've been asking ourselves not only is how does someone get addicted, but more importantly, once someone is addicted, how do they escape that cycle? And I think the big question that we've been in dialogue with is, this system of punishment and shame that we've seen to sort of address addiction doesn't work, because as soon as these people sort of get back into the world, there's so much stigma and shame surrounding their experience with addiction that oftentimes going back to that connection bond is a place of solace as they're trying to recover. So those have been things that we've been grappling with as we've been working on the show.
And I'm sure the show is even more relevant than ever right now, because we've all been cooped up for the last year. We all, things have come out that we didn't expect to come out, and we're alone.
I also really love how you said how you are refocusing the concept of addiction and the word, similar to, I'm trying to refocus the term committed suicide to died by suicide, just to also take that pressure off of, that person who's no longer here to defend themselves.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Totally. There's this amazing TED Talk, which we saw while we were working on the show at the Rhinebeck Writers Retreat, which was an incredibly transformative time for the show.
Hey, Kathy Evans.
Hi, Kathy Evans. Thank you. this TED Talk by this man named Johann Hari, and he posited that the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. And it's these interpersonal relationships that we're able to have with one another that are really going to be the sort of root to how we solve the opioid crisis in America.
Absolutely. So this show has been around for so long. It had a different title when you first started and when you worked on it with Kathy at the Rhinebeck Writers Retreat, correct?
That's true. The show used to be titled Almost Heaven, which we decided to change because that is coincidentally the title of the John Denver musical, which is coming out. But I think it all worked out because we are very excited about our new title.
We like the title. Yeah.
It was also a Reese Witherspoon movie with Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah. My wife told me about that yesterday. I had no idea.
It's a good movie. But your musical will be better than the movie. Hands down.
Awesome. Well, we'd love to see your first song, Catch Me. If you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so in the show, this second song in the show, and over the course of the opening number and the scene that follows it, we meet Jess Holt, who is beginning her senior year of high school, and things look to be going pretty well. She's well-liked, she has been doing well academically, has a reputation for being a good student, is on the cheer team, and so externally, she's really going through high school. People perceive that she's successful, but we see these relationships that she has setting up this song are really existing on the surface level. And we come to understand that this is the 1-year mark of a pretty significant life event. And we see that she has no one to sort of deeply connect with on an authentic level to sort of process what she's really feeling. So in this moment, she's on the field in the middle of a cheer practice. And as the song comes in, she simultaneously is in the world and sort of stepping outside of it as the cheer practice moves on around her in a kind of underwater feel. And this is the first moment in the show where we get inside of Jess's head. The song is called Catch Me, sung by the incredible Julia Harriman, which we're so excited to debut for the first time ever tonight, right now.
So here is Catch Me.
You ever feel like the whole world keeps turning without you? And you watch as it plays like a movie around you. Someone, can you hear me calling? I make a sound, but can you even hear? Somewhere, I know you're out there listening. Get here fast before I disappear. Let me fall through your sky and tell me you'll be there. I could fall apart tonight if I could know you'd care. Hold me close till morning light and say you've heard my prayer. I need someone to catch me. So I smile and I go through the motions I'm supposed to. And I wonder what's wrong that I can't do like they do. Someone save me from this nightmare. Tell me that I'm not the only one. Something in me keeps on screaming. I need to know that there is something more. Let me fall through your sky and tell me you'll be there. safe. I am warm. I am held, and you are here. Tell me fast, how much longer until you have found me? I don't know if I'll last without your light around me. Let me fall through your sky and tell me you'll be there. I could fall apart tonight if I could know you care. Hold me close till morning light and say you've heard my prayer. I need someone to catch me.
Yeah, Julia.
Wow. That is like the biggest dream as a songwriter, is to have someone that talented sing my music. Julia's amazing.
And just interpreted in spades and your orchestrations and her singing together, it just makes it an event.
Yeah, that melody is definitely on repeat in my head.
Cool. Okay.
I love what our artistic associate just said. She's singing the desperation of addiction. It's true.
Awesome.
Yes, to all of this.
That's right. There's Kathy Evans again. Please tell us about the second song.
So this second song happens late in Act 2, and Jess is 3 weeks clean. Now she's in rehab. She's spiraled into addiction, and now she's recovering. And it's late at night, and she's sharing a celebration cupcake with the founder of this rehabilitation clinic, who she's developed a relationship with, named Elaine. And Jess asks Elaine why Elaine got into this field. And Elaine answers with this song. And I'll be performing it, but I wrote it with Jen Colella in mind. So you can imagine Jen Colella singing this as well.
And just to give everyone context, how long, the whole show in total, how long does it take place, timeline-wise?
It's over. Go ahead.
It's about a year. Would
Okay.
you agree, Hunter? It's about the course of a year, maybe a little bit shorter than that.
Yeah, the Act 1 of the show is about sort of the circumstances that lead Jess into the addiction, and then Act 2 is about the road to recovery from that.
Wow. Well, here is Act 2, and here is She Reached for Heaven.
I knew a girl with the prettiest face. Knew a girl who could light up a room with blue eyes and dark curls you wouldn't believe. And we'd run to the swings by the creek and forget all the things that were wrong in the world on those swings till the sun barely poked through the leaves. And she begged for one more time, just one more time. She reached for heaven, she touched the sky. She'd reach for heaven, leave the rest of the world far behind. No more of darkness, no more of pain. 'Cause she reached for heaven like she'd never come down again. Well, she grew up and got lost in the crowd. She grew up and the world wasn't kind, and those eyes and those curls didn't shine like before. I found found her slumped on a parking lot curb with a cup in her hands and a thirst in her eyes. She said, please, could you spare me all 20 or more? She begged for one more time, just one more time. She reached for heaven, she touched the sky. She reached for heaven, left the rest of the world far behind. No more of darkness, no more of pain, 'cause she reached for heaven. And I'm on my shift and I get a call, someone's gone too far, someone's had too much, and I race downtown and she's lying there. And the girl I knew with her bright blue eyes and her dark brown curls, my sister, had passed on. And if I'd been one more minute sooner, she might not be gone. She touched the sky, she reached for heaven, left the rest of the world far behind. No more of darkness, no more of pain, 'cause she reached for heaven and she never came down again. And Jess sings, I won't be one more life.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Who needs Jen Colella?
Someone said, what a gut punch. What a gut punch.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
All of this I agree with. My mother's also texting me right now. We actually have a member of our family who was kind of a part of this crisis, and we don't even know where she is right now, and we're thinking about her. It's such a sucker punch of a song.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you know.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
She agrees, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think what's amazing is, I mean, I can't imagine that there's a person out there who hasn't been affected by addiction, you know, in their own selves, or, you know, through a friendship or a connection as well. I mean, I think it's a universal struggle for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, COVID really laid it bare too. I mean, there's been so much challenge for so many people, myself included. And it's hard to stay with it. You know, it's hard to stay with reality. It's really easy to want to just, like, you know, choose to look another way. And I'm hoping that this show can be something that encourages all of us to choose life in all of its messiness and beauty.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Do Colby humanizes addiction for this younger audience now, who they need to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, because, you know, one of the things that we've worked on with the show is originally the idea of addiction, putting the audience inside of the experience, was all about the visual world and sort of the fantastical reality that Jess experiences when she's using. But as we've worked on the show, we actually pivoted it so that relationship that she has with the drug is personified and in a relationship that she's investing in, like any other relationship in her life, because it really is a personal relationship that you continue to choose over the other ones. And so our hope is this can be a show that can both show how addiction happens and also how the pathway to healing can begin from all of us as a community.
And we need to choose life. We need to choose family and friends and the people who love us and care about us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both for your beautiful, beautiful musical and for this presentation. We're going to put your websites up here on the screen so that people can learn more about the show and your amazing work.
There you have it.
Thank you both so much. This is our really first public presentation of this show, and I couldn't have imagined a better. If in person would be the best, but this is the absolute second best. So thank you.
Soon, we hope.
And thank you both for this community. It is so awesome that you are championing new work like this, and we're so grateful to be a part of it.
We're so grateful to have you. You know, the community wouldn't be what it is if we didn't have writers like you who are like-minded and have big ideas like what we're seeing right now.
Absolutely. Thank you both so much. Safe travels on your road trip, and Hunter, safe travels coming back to New York.
Yes, we'll see you soon.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Wow.
That was fantastic. But now for something a little different.
Really, really different. So next we have Co-Founders. Co-Founders has book and lyrics by Adesha Adefela, Beau Lewis, and Nicole Austin, and music by Jodie Ellis, Josh Budo Karpm, Cava Menzies, and Brian Watters. Co-Founders is the story of the two most unlikely partners in the history of Silicon Valley. Esata Thompson, a Black female coder from Oakland, and Conway Delouche, a small-town college dropout, take on the most competitive startup accelerator in the world, where the privileged make a killing while the people across the bridge grind to survive. How about that?
That's right. And now joining us from their homes in California are the writers of Co-Founders Adesha Adefela, Beau Lewis, and Nicole Austin.
Hi.
Everybody.
What up, y'all? What up?
Wonderful to be here.
You're about to see a show polar opposite from the last one, but in the best way possible.
We were so excited to see the show in this past year's NAMT Festival, the National Alliance for Musical Theater's Festival of New Musicals. And the show was just, I think the show had a really terrific showcase, ironically, because of its virtual presentation. Limitation really was creation.
Yeah, and you closed out the first day of NAMT, and I want to say hi to Betsy. And I think you made us think about what was possible in a digital medium. And this was back in November when I feel like we were just really realizing what was possible, but there was also so much that we didn't realize until your presentation.
Thank you very much. Yeah, fortunately, our show is really about, the bridge of digital technology and making sure that is accessible to our audience, but also available on stage and in our presentation. So, in this pandemic, we had to be creative, but we also were able to lean into one of our strengths that's already present in the show.
Awesome. Well, we want to tell people a little bit more about you before we dive into the conversation. So, Adesha, you started acting in musical theater at age 5.
Yeah.
Started beside your mother, Deltrina Johnson, a Beach Blanket Babylon alum. And for anybody who doesn't know what Beach Blanket Babylon is, it's like Forbidden Broadway. In fact, it was there first. I also read that you worked with Lettucey, and I'll never forget the time I got to see Lettucey go on for Renee. Which was
Joe is from the Bay Area, and he will not stop talking about it this entire segment.
We got you, Joe.
I love you,
Yes.
As a teen, Adesha, you were to sign with Atlantic Records, but in an effort to uphold your personal values, you became an independent artist. And that decision led to nominations, sold out shows in the San Francisco Bay Area, co-starring in a reality TV show produced by Warner Brothers, and becoming a Billboard charted artist. Brian, you are a Grammy-nominated polymath whose work meets at the intersection of art and activism. You've led workshops, directed, and have been the playwright in residence at New York's Public Theater, Yerba Buena Center for the Arts, California Shakespeare Theater, and San Francisco's cherished American Conservatory Theater. Beau, you're an Emmy-winning writer, producer, viral media expert, and entrepreneur from Seattle. Your music videos have over 250 million views online, and your work has been featured in the New York Times, The Atlantic, Fortune, and on Good Morning America. You are also the CEO of Rhyme Combinator, the media company dedicated to championing positive entrepreneurial culture. You also co-founded, pun intended, and sit on the board of Goldie Blocks, the award-winning children's multimedia company challenging gender stereotypes with the world's first girl engineer character. Wow. You're all incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you
wonder
very we're so
much.
excited to be here. Thanks for including us.
Excited to be here.
No wonder co-founders is the future of musical theater.
Hey, you said it. That's a great quote, Joe. We're gonna type that.
Yeah.
We're going to say it a few
Hey,
times.
100%.
I'm going to say it a few times tonight. So Co-Founder started as a weekly freestyle rap session in Oakland and San Francisco among friends who saw meaning in getting vulnerable and celebrating the grit of Bay Area artists and entrepreneurs. The show is inspired by your real life experiences, and you all happen to be entrepreneurs. And all of the characters, though they are of varying socioeconomic statuses, are entrepreneurs in your show, from the Uber driver to the founder of the tech accelerator.
Mm-hmm.
So Adesha, Ryan, and Beau, how did you come to collaborate, and what inspired you to evolve and weave your experiences into a musical?
Great question. And let me just start by acknowledging the land that we're on. We're on unceded, respectively, Chochenyo, Ohlone land, and Tongva land. Just want to acknowledge that. And then I'll take the first crack at the question and pass it around to my homies. You know, we can talk about like the linear story of like how this all happened and the dates that we all came together. But I think it's also important to just talk about the significance of this collaboration. I joined the team last, actually. Came on to the squad as a performer at one of the initial performances of Co-Founders, the initial presentation of it. I think version 4 or 3 or something like that. And then was slowly weaved into the collaboration as a writer, and have been with the team for about 2.5, 2 years now, something like that. I don't know what time it is. We're in a pandemic. But what the reason why I've been so integrally connected in this team and why I'm passionate about the story is twofold. One of them, and the primary objective, is because it was a story about the Bay Area, and it was a story about Oakland. And if I don't bleed anything else, I bleed Oakland. If Oakland had a color, I would bleed that color. Mm-hmm. I'm all about this town. I'm all about the Bay Area. I love it for the reasons that we're talking about in the show: the innovation, the grit, the activism, the love, and just the real people of this area. And I was really happy to be invited to champion a story about this place that we think is so special. And then beyond that, you know, what I've learned over time is that this show helps challenge some of my assumptions. The show is all about challenging assumptions, and it's doing a personal work in me. And I hope that I always hope to do work and be in relationship that challenge me and expand my parameters, expand my worldview. And I hope to create art that does that. And so I'm encouraged that this show will do that for me. I also encourage it will do that for audiences who come and see it. So that's primarily the reasons why this collaboration is important to me and why I've joined.
I can go next. Yes. So I love that question. How do we come together? Because, you know, again, like Ryan said, we can tell a linear story, but one thing that plays a key role in our play is what we call fate, as opposed to algorithm. And so, you know, one thing that I believe is that the universe brought us together to tell this story for such a time as this. So, you know, I'll talk about how Beau actually came in contact with me, and it was basically through a chance encounter with a friend of mine on a Friday night performing at First Fridays. And the thought that if he didn't turn down that corner, I don't know if I'm going in and out.
You're good.
If he didn't turn down that corner that night and meet my friend, you know, we wouldn't have known each other. And so to see that the universe is orchestrating our meeting and coming together so that we can tell this story that needs to be told. So I want to lean into that, just basically that we came together because the universe wants us to. And this story needs to be told for our city, for underrepresented people in the tech industry, and things of that nature. For me, what drew me to the story, as you said earlier, Joe, all of us are entrepreneurs. I myself am a singer, songwriter, and have been really committed to making sure that something happens out of Oakland. Many things have happened out of Oakland, but wanting to see my career be successful in Oakland without having to move to New York or without having to move to LA. And feeling like other industries have been able to come here and grow something from here, but I couldn't grow something from my own home, and feeling the frustration of that, and seeing the tech industry come in and just grow, and like exponentially while I'm still hustling, and selling CDs when CDs were out, or, getting little download cards to hand out to my friends, and just watching this industry grow. There's a part of me that was really angry and just, felt just like I wanted to be distanced from that industry. But, I realized, the only way that you're going to be able to work together and to understand is to engage. So when the opportunity presented itself for me to be to be a part of co-founders, I embraced it because I thought it was another way for me to understand the tech industry, and in addition, be able to create a bridge between what I would like to think of as the natives in the Bay Area and, the non-natives in the Bay Area, which is the tech industry. And for them to be able to understand each other, like there's something that I can learn from the tech industry that can help, me as an entrepreneur. And there's something that the tech industry can learn from the entrepreneurs in the Bay as far as culture and and putting people first before money. So, just seeing this as an opportunity, not only to learn more about tech and to kind of just steer that ship in a different direction, but also as an opportunity to grow myself as an entrepreneur in my tech knowledge.
What about you, Beau?
All I would add is, if Adesha is, comes from the lineages of musical theater royalty from, San Francisco and the Bay, and Ryan bleeds Oakland, I'm the white kid across the bridge in Silicon Valley who has been living in this crazy, startup culture for 10 years, trying to make it as an entrepreneur. And a white kid who grew up in suburbia listening to Too Short, Hyro, Black Alicious, those guys were my idols. Everybody out in Oakland, they were selling tapes out of the trunks in Oakland when Steve Jobs and Wozniak were selling computers out of garages in Silicon Valley. And so both those things are entrepreneurship. It's all a hustle. And we wanted to tell a story of what these dreams have in common, how they're different, and how they can help each other.
The hustle is real, whatever you were doing. So before we talk about the development of the show, we'd love to hear more about Rhyme Combinator and how it came to be. And I know you say that you believe regardless of color, class, anybody can be the next Mark Zuckerberg if they try. So tell us more about why you have this company together and how it's a part of your show.
Yeah, so Zuckerberg or Elon Musk or whatever, entrepreneur you want to mess with, but basically that's the current American dream that a lot of people are chasing, and that there deserve to be diverse voices, and that innovation thrives with diversity. And Rhyme Combinator came from kind of that spirit. It was just a chance that we would shout out in the cipher to call people together to freestyle 6 years ago, Rhyme Combinator, Rhyme Combinator. And it turned into a reading and then a media company where we did viral campaigns to support causes that we believe in. One of those causes was motivating Get Out the Vote last year with rap cartoons and memes to convince people to vote against Donald Trump. Another is around mobilization people to get vaccinated. And then the big project though is this musical. And really it's just a, kind of production entity. We're a bit of outsiders in this world, although Ryan has the credits with the public and Yerba Buena and everything that I'm coming to recognize and appreciate even more, and feel grateful to have her and Adesha and this power team together. But it's sort of our little outsider kind of next generation vessel of digital media, and our lens that we're putting this show and sort of everything that we do that supports it online through.
Wow. Well, I think it's time to hear more about the show and hear some music, and then we'll talk about the development in between songs. So tell us more about the first song we're going to see tonight.
Let's see. What's the first song? It's Silicon Valley to Vallejo. And so it talks about bridging that gap, the literal, 60-mile journey between Vallejo and Silicon Valley, and all the life that exists in between, all the time that has passed, all the spirit of innovation that this cauldron of the Bay Area has created. And so it talks about that. It's presented by one of our primary characters, the first person that you see in the show, Demir, who is our streetwise entrepreneur. He's presenting himself currently as an Uber driver, but he does a lot of things, and he'll tell you in the song. It puts the audience in the front seat and makes the audience one of the main characters of the show. And then we take this ride, and it's on from there.
And that's Austin Dean Ashford, and then you're there with him too.
Yes, I am. Kamaya. Yeah. Kamaya is also a streetwise entrepreneur, again, another representative of the Bay Area, tech hustle, entrepreneurship, grit and grind. So, yeah.
So here is Silicon Valley to Vallejo.
All right.
You order an Uber? Yeah, you. Get in the car. Demir. Right. You new to the area? I can see it's your first time. Oh, you ordered a Lyft? Don't worry. I also drive for DoorDash, Instacart, Postmates, and Earlene. The Earlene, that's my granny. Not an app. Hustles? I got plenty. But we all do in the Bay. Because if you want to make it here, gotta make your own way. Don't worry, you'll get the drift. Hold on a second. I'm about to shoot my cousin real quick.
Hey. Who this?
Nah, some newbies, you know what it is.
Well, welcome to the Bay, the city by the sea. You see, it is what it is, but it ain't what it used to be. This used to be the home of the Black Panthers. Now we have search engines for answers. But we about to bring a little Oakland to the tech industry.
Oh yeah, we headed to the accelerator.
The world's fastest startup incubator.
From IP to VC in just 4 weeks.
Hey, 1,000 apply, 10 get accepted, 8 of those fail.
But we're about to see the tale of 2 that might prevail and reshape the future of this city.
Oh, wait. Oh, look. You think they know the history?
Nah. All good, though. We're going to put them up on game real quick.
Silicon Valley to Vallejo. Started from the bottom of the Bay. You heard of jobs, heard of wives, heard of such. Those are the garages. This is the trunk.
76 squads, Nick and Jobs. Started Apple in the Cupertino garage.
Yo, by 7-6, we was already lit. Yeah. Black Panther Party for self-defense had its genesis 10 years prior in 1966 because of brutality in West Oakland, encroachment by the pigs. And that collusion sparked the people's revolution. From Berkeley to the city, the queers to the students. La raza y la casa vive Chavez, Cope Chiama. I don't mean a name drop, but the people in that power got Steve Jobs to think different. Not the other way around. The bite in the apple, that's the town's imprint.
The town was Chuck Johnson's in 78. He built a network of videos and mixtapes. So be Chuck's the programmer. He plays 2 short, Shock G and MC Hammer. Short paved the way by making his own funk. He grind takes a D-boy straight out the trunk.
Digital underground, they put Pac on. And all around the world, it's the same song. 93 till infinity. The souls of mischief then getting where you fit in as the Bay is getting louder. Put the spark to dry powder. Hey.
Then Mark Andreessen drops a browser. In 95, the bubble comes alive. Yahoo, Netscape, IPO, boom, started up.
Hey, hustlers, all of us entrepreneurs at your doors, and we can't get enough.
Silicon Valley to Vallejo. Started from the bottom of the Bay. You heard of jobs, heard of wives, heard of Zuck. Those were the garages. This is the trunk. If you want to make it here, you need to make your own alley.
You're about to experience the tale of Esata and Conway, the 2 most unlikely co-founders in the history of Silicon Valley.
Hey!
So much fun.
Word. I'm texting people because they're texting me like, they haven't seen all the there's some updates in that video since we presented at NAMM.
Right. Yeah.
We're having fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun there.
Like we said, your show has had a very unique development path. You started as freestyle rap sessions and you've evolved into this crazy thing that you work with so many different organizations, Netflix, so many different things. Tell us about your evolution.
But why don't you start that and then we'll.
Yeah, absolutely. So really the show has developed in whatever space has had room for us on either side of the culture, tech culture, Black culture, Oakland hip hop culture. And so what that's looked like is readings at, ACT, like in a room, with just us with chairs. It's looked like, okay, wait a minute, there's actually an opportunity to perform at Palace of Fine Arts for Lean Startup Conference because Eric Ries believes in diversity in tech. And this is something that, they mess with. And so we're like, okay, yeah, we'll keynote, Lean Startup Conference at Palace of Fine Arts. And then, Netflix had the relationship that we have with Next Play. Actually, maybe I'll pass that over, Adesha, if you want to talk about.
Yeah,
Next
sure.
Play,
So a friend of mine's named Leslie Touche has a program called Next Play Events. And basically what he does is he is working to help people of color, Black and brown people, get jobs in the tech industry because, as you can see, it's not very diverse. And so he'll have parties and socials where Twitter will come or eBay will come, and they are recruiting people of color. Of course, the angle for them is to make sure that they're having some diversity in their organization. And his is to basically help people of color get the jobs, the six-figure paying jobs, so that they can also stay here in the Bay Area and in other places where the tech industry is. So Next Play Events, when I met Leslie, I thought that there was some synergy between what his mission was and what we're doing in our play. And so basically we collaborated. I was initially singing for Next Play Events alongside my brother, and just seeing what he was doing and looking at our play. And I just thought, man, this would be the perfect collaboration. So we were able to come together and do an event not only at Netflix for one of their presentations or one of their Next Play parties, but we're also able to perform at the K-Poor Center. So it's also something that's interesting, especially during this diversity and inclusion language that's happening in the tech industry. Even sharing with one of my friends who works for Airbnb, and she heard about the basically the premise of our play and was like, man, I'm interested. I want to get you to come to our to our organization, so basically they can learn more about what it means to have people of color in the tech industry and why it's important, why it's needed now.
And I think that's a good second to our next song. And you are not going to set it up because your song does such a good job of setting it up. But can you simply tell us what it is called and who our performers are?
It's called I Am the 1% and / Bad Pitches. We've got Amber Iman playing our lead protagonist, Esata Thompson, and Gerard Canonico playing our second protagonist, Conway Delouche. And then they enter this accelerator and they get eviscerated by one Miss Sandy Hill.
Who plays Sandy?
I wonder who it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
some girl. Yeah.
Ryan.
Some evil lady.
And you have
then Victor with
that's
Jeff
right.
Brown.
That's right. Playing Victor, the lead, the main person who runs the accelerator.
So here is I Am the 1%. I Hate Bad Pitches.
Now is the time to unlock your own idea, Esata. You should apply.
Yeah, right. You mean apply and not get accepted? Like they welcome a thick girl with kinky hair. What's the acceptance rate for that?
That query is too specific to yield a data set.
Fine. What's the general acceptance rate?
5%.
Oh, let's not forget to calculate the acceptance rate for Black females in tech. It can't be more than 1%.
But you, Esata, are a unicorn, and tech companies are looking to diversify. Now would be the time to apply. You could be the 1%.
Could I? Am I? The 1%.
Dad, I have something to tell you. I'm dropping out.
Oh, again, huh? Yeah, you wait until after I fund the alumni library atrium? Great.
This time I'm not giving up, Dad. I'm pivoting to my greatest opportunity for success.
Yeah, you're a Delouche, son. You're already on the path to success. You are part of the 1%. I have made it so. Don't fuck it up.
I'm stepping off that path.
I am the 1%, my daddy told me. I am the one who will build my own legacy. I am afraid, but I won't let that stop me. I'll hold up my head and dive in.
I am the 1%, my daddy told me. I am the one who will hold up his legacy. I am afraid, but I won't let that stop me. I'll close my eyes and dive in.
Will they accept me? Or will they reject me? Will they accept me for who I am? Once I'm accepted, then I'll be accepted. I'll be accepted for who I am. For who I am.
And wouldn't you know, as luck, fate would have it, they end up in our same Uber. And now, they're co-founders.
And they gonna need as much luck as they can get in that accelerator. It's about to be a bunch of broken dreams and laser beams up in there.
Founders, welcome to the accelerator. The Earth is not the center of the universe. You are. And we are going to launch your startup into the sun. Now today is rehearsal demo day, and investors, do not miss your chance to back these fiery startups. They may be the very best that the universe has to offer. And speaking of the best, legendary venture capitalist Sandy Hill, the $1 billion unicorn spotter, is in the building, and look out, she's tougher than I am.
I hate bad pitches, that's my fucking problem. And y'all know how to pitch, you got a fucking problem. I hate bad pitches, you get one shot. Throw an elevator pitch and blow it like the gun's hot.
All right, founders, let's get this show on the road. First to the stage is Task Rabbi.
Say you're eating a sandwich, but you don't know if it's kosher. You need a rabbi quick, but you can't find one in a brochure. Our app summons rabbis, except for on Shabbat. You can also use our integration with Slackbot.
I pass. You're like 6/7 of a delivery app.
And next in the class, ButtBit.
We're like Fitbit for your butt. We're called ButtBit. I'll tell you what, the first wearable that charts every poop and every fart. It's not PC for the VCs to make PCs to track feces, but we can fleece these if we proceed, please. Can we have your seed, please?
A small niche, perhaps, but it isn't ready for mass.
And next up, racism insurance.
Racism insurance. Any questions? Thank you.
Racism is a problem money alone can't solve. On top of that, your pitch wasn't good at all. I hate bad pitches, that's my fucking problem. And you know how to pitch, you got a fucking problem. I hate bad pitches, you get one shot. Demo days in 3 weeks, you better make your pitch hot.
And last to the stage is Esata Thompson and Conway Delouche with Totality. Hello?
Oh, right. So, I wanted an artificially intelligent augmented reality avatar. I built the back end and beta tested the build, and well, blast off. I compiled and created the rest, then coded the app CSS. I dove into the data set, and after that, Express.js. The eData, core for Firewire, gigabytes, generated graphics, Google searches general likes, and then it gave Garfunkel gifs, and George Clooney gifs galore.
GIFs.
Excuse me?
GIFs. Remember that selfie you took with Jamie Kennedy on the Carnival cruise? Now, imagine if it was with Kendrick Lamar and Saint-Tropez.
I just said all that shit.
Yet that is what we are offering you. Totality Tours. Your personal celebrity AI guide to paradise.
The code sounds promising. The pitch does not.
We have Hunter on the chat saying it's the best thing he's seen in the pandemic. You heard it here.
Good looking out. Thank you, Hunter.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
We
Ryan.
Oh, we have to shout out our visual producer too.
Yes,
David.
please.
Bo, you know more about him, and I don't even want to mess up like his full name, but I know his name is David, and he's amazing, and he has a he has a company called Prism and Invention, and he's just been outstanding. All of those,
You got it.
the whole set is all miniatures. I know, I'm like shouting them out now.
I know, I'm like, you got it all. You did it.
But the whole
All you
set
missed
is miniatures, right?
All you missed is his last name. David Richardson is our visual director who did all of the editing and figured out how to put that in a kit that people shoot themselves on green screen at home in their tiny apartments. And he comped it all in, and he, put together this. Here's the car that you see, Damir's car, that they're driving in.
The computer in Asada's room, the couch, all the rooms, everything.
Yeah. This is 3D printed model of an iMac. Yeah, that's all that is. Yeah, shout out to David Richardson.
Yeah, one love.
Thank you, David. Amazing work. I said in the private chat to the group that it's so polished, but it still gives you room to use your imagination to imagine
yes.
the many different ways that the show could be done, which is a great segue to our final question, Jen.
Yeah, so I know, remember the one thing I said to you, Joe, the day of this presentation was, wow, this could be a musical on stage and how much they benefited from this virtual digital medium. It could be a movie, it could be a TV show, it could be a podcast. I think your show dares to dream in so many different special ways and so many different mediums of art. How do you think the story does transcend so many different mediums, and why do we need that kind of thing now more than ever while the traditional brick and mortar theaters are kind of at a hiatus?
I mean, we love traditional brick and mortar theater. That's how we started writing the show, right? Like we're about that. We're about that life entirely. But also we want a show that reaches the next generation. Like that's what we've said. We want to create a musical that reaches the next and the next generation. That it's a show that appeals to that very short attention span, that has the bells and whistles, but doesn't miss the meat of the story. And I think, our show is intending to work in that way. And so in that way, we have to think about all the mediums where our audience is. Our audience is on TikTok. Our audience is on IG. Our audience is streaming Netflix. You know what I mean? And hopefully we can draw our audience into real spaces once this COVID thing lifts and see a show that really appeals to them. And also our music. We want to make sure that the music is something that can play on the radio, can play. Well, that's funny. That's me telling my age. The radio is not the next generation. That plays on Spotify and SoundCloud and all of that, that our next gen can stream and be connected to before they even put their butts in seats at the theater.
To back back on that, I was going to say the bigger, someone just put in the chat, dare to dream, and
amazing Betsy.
The more that the bigger we dream, the more the story gets out there. And I think that that's what's important, is that we're able to share it with many different people and different age groups. I was just even sharing with our team how I was at my friend's house and showing her the video, and her 11-year-old son was downstairs, and thinking to myself, wow, this is going to be a play that he's going to want to see. He's not going to say, Mom, please, I don't want to see, I want to sit down. Not to say that, that's how every other play is, but this, again, is for that next generation, for them to actually not only see the play, but hear the messaging and be able to make better decisions for the future as a result of that.
I love that. One of the things I've been saying that maybe you could say is quite entrepreneurial is that your target audience is not your only audience. So I think there are many different audiences for the show. Just like Jen said, there are many different mediums. And again, I want to thank NAMT, the National Alliance for Musical Theater, for choosing the show and for presenting it.
Yes.
In a
Thank you,
manner.
ma'am.
Yeah.
And I love what this woman that didn't birth me or may have birthed me just said, as was once said in a classic film, build it and they will come.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Mindy.
Maybe not her mom. Maybe not her mom.
She's my mom. And I think, the last thing I'm going to say is your show is for the quintessential theater kid, but also the not, someone who maybe doesn't think they like musical theater, but they might listen to this and realize they do.
Mm-hmm. That's the
We
hope.
hope so. Yeah, and we have to give a big shout out, lots of love to NAMT for trusting this story and taking a chance on it. And, dealing with us in our ideas in terms of, that visual medium. It was a tough year to figure it out. And they braved all of these logistics and made it happen. It was a wonderful experience that has opened a lot of doors. That's how we met you, Joe and Jen.
Exactly.
And shout out to you both as pioneers pushing forward the ongoing beat of digital musical theater. I mean, the numbers that you talked about, how you have figured this out, is inspiring. I haven't seen a lot of people doing it, so I recognize that and want to give you lots of love and appreciate the platform that you have built.
Thank you,
Well,
Betsy. Thank you, Lady. Thank you, Sierra. All of that team. All the work you're doing. Thank you. We need you.
I guess we could also say too that Co-Founders is a gateway musical, especially like how Ryan was saying. If some of this music was recorded and it actually was in the mainstream even before the musical gets to have its premiere, I think you can bring some people to the theater who maybe didn't know that a musical could be about you. It could be about us. It can sound like anything.
Right. That is really the hope. That's my primary goal. My personal primary goal and mission is to, get audiences that are 50% traditional and 50% non-traditional, and both of them sitting in a room and enjoying themselves and rubbing shoulders with new folks that they wouldn't have sat in a space with.
And that's what theater is about. It's about the arts. It's about being different, but also finding things you didn't know were possible.
Yep, definitely.
Right. That's why I love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, co-founders of co-founders.
It's so meta. Oh my God.
It is. Everything about this.
Yeah. No, it's so funny. It's like, I remember when I was reading about it, I was like, I wonder what this is going to be about. And then the first second I was like, oh, I get the title. That's so cool.
So, thank you.
Thank all three of you for being here, and we hope to see you soon.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Peace.
Oh my God, what a night. It's truly like two shows that couldn't be more different, and they're both so exceptional in so many different ways.
Totally. I'm going to be singing the title song from She Reached from Heaven and I Am the 1% all night.
We'll do it. We'll do a remix for everybody for 2 weeks from now. No, we're not. But that's our show for tonight. We'll be back in 2 weeks on Wednesday, May 12th at 7 p.m. with the new musicals Heart Island and Cowboy Bob. And I just want to acknowledge our May press release went out on Playbill today, and the wonderful Dan Meyer said the New York Theater Barn Spotlight returns with musicals about map makers, robbers, and the Brooklyn Bridge. And that's our entire May for you. And I want to just tattoo that to my head for the next month because it's so great.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. Speaking of NAMT, Heart Island and both Cowboy Bob were also in last year's NAMT Festival of New Musicals, and we are excited about a new musical called Brooklyn Bridge, which is about the woman who was
The Bridge.
About the creation of the Brooklyn Bridge, which is about a woman who is responsible for making sure that it happened. So. But anyway.
And then the other show I just want to say is by Jay Adana and Zaniba Now, who are winners of Idea Awards tonight. And it's called The Loophole, and it was a winner of a Richard Rodgers Award last year. So lots coming up in May.
That's right. And Heart Island, our show on May 12th, is written by my friends Michelle Elliott and Danny Hangiel Larson. And Cowboy Bob is written by Molly Beach Murphy, Gianna Phillips, and Alex Thrailkill. I want to just let you know that it takes an incredible amount of work to make tonight's show happen. And in order to continue to lift up artists and original musicals, we really need your help. So please join our generous donors by making your gift today on our website at nytheaterbarn.org. And as we said earlier, you can also donate quickly by text at 631-710 NYTB. That's 631-710-6982, just like Dancing with the Stars and American Idol. Those details also follow below in the video description.
Again, that link is nytheaterbarn.org/give or 631-710 NYTB 631-710-6982. Vote for David Archuleta, Carrie Underwood, whoever you want, whatever makes your heart go pound, pound, pound. So thank you for tuning in tonight, and thank you for supporting live theater as always.
That's right. Thanks for getting into our cab tonight. See you soon.
See you soon. Good night.
Having the support of New York Theater Barn's artistic community has been so nourishing and uplifting, especially now as our brick and mortar theaters remain on hiatus. And I've been so grateful to have a place to gather and share our work.
And I just want to say that New York Theater Barn is very special. It has several different programs that help development of musicals.
They're looking out for theater. They're looking out for new shows. They're looking out for new artists and new creators. That's what we need.
That without places like New York Theater Barn, people like me don't really have the opportunity to workshop our work and don't have an opportunity to make it better.
So it's very important that we are all supporting organizations doing the work that New York Theater Barn is doing right now.
So I hope you are very generous with giving to Theater Barn, and they've been so generous to generations now of writers.
I hope you will give to them this holiday season, and I hope you have a great holiday.